Daily Devotional, November 3rd, 2020. Keep your mind from drifting, Watchman Née. If the Christian does not relentlessly oppose his traditional way of thinking, he shall unconsciously turn back to it, as he needs to deny the work of the flesh and daily follow the Spirit. So he must resist the old mental way and daily think according to the renewed mind. The Holy Spirit moves in our spirit, producing in us a spiritual sense. Afterwards, we exercise our brain to study and to understand the meaning of this sense. It requires cooperation of both spirit and mind to comprehend fully the will of God. The spirit enables our inner man to know, while the mind causes our outer man to understand. We consistently ought to refuse to allow the mind to serve as the prime element for receiving God's will. Yet we must not inhibit it from serving as a secondary apparatus for understanding that will. Whatever the mind sets itself on is what man walks after. If it occupies itself with the flesh, we walk after that. Conversely, if it sets itself upon the Spirit, we follow after that. It is therefore necessary to ask whether or not we are walking after the Spirit. Our brain is full of prejudice towards both the truth or towards the preacher. Truth will not enter in. I'm going to read that again. Our brain is full of prejudice towards truth or towards the preacher. Truth will not enter in, nor will it extend to our life. No wonder some believers derive no help already. Have they decided what they would like to hear or read? If the mind is open, the individual will soon perceive the preciousness of the truth which initially appeared rather dull to him, but now is illumined by the Spirit's light. Although he may not have at his command the proper words to explain it, yet inwardly he has understood perfectly. Every part of the Christian's life needs to be under the reins. That includes the mind, even following its renewal. We ought not to toss the reins to it, lest the evil spirits take advantage. Let us remember that thought is the seed of action. Carelessness here invariably leads to sin there. And an idea sown will eventually grow, however prolonged such growth may require. We can trace all our presumption and unconscious sins to those seed thoughts we allowed to be planted before. Hence Peter exhorts us to gird up our minds, 1 Peter 1:3, by which he means to say that we must regulate all our thoughts and never let them run wild. He should not allow his mind to drift off at random, lest he provide opportunity for the evil spirits to work. It must not be lazy, doing nothing. Rather, it should always be functioning actively, even after the Christian has received the revelation of the Spirit. He still needs to exercise his intellect to examine, to test, to ascertain whether this is of God or of himself. An unpeaceful mind cannot operate normally. Hence the apostle teaches us to have no anxiety about anything, Philippians 4:16. Deliver all anxious thoughts to God as soon as they arise. Let the peace of God maintain your heart and mind. The head needs to be kept in a humble state. A proud thought easily leads one astray. Any self-righteous, any self-important, or self-sufficient notion can bring in error. Some have a background of extensive knowledge, and yet they fall into self-deceit because they think too much and too highly of themselves. Any who genuinely desires to serve the Lord must do so with all lowliness of mind. Acts 20:19, and that's by Watchman Née. I'm sorry that I had such a hard time getting through it. I have a little clip of a video that I put up explaining my struggle with since childhood that I have with my mind drifting, and even now. And somebody keeps on cutting off every video I do, anything I try to upload. My health is really bad, so if the reading sounds like it's being stumbled over, just know that I'm completely on my back. My asthma's bad, and I'm also under extreme persecution from just somebody just being mean. That's all, just doing anything they can to cause pain and grief. But I'm not going to quit.